Cavin Elizabeth, and I'm a wedding photographer based in San Diego. And today I'm going to be talking about why I and many other photographers or wedding vendors in general do not list prices online. Yes, I know that is very frustrating. It is definitely something that can be annoying, but there are good reasons for it. It's not to hide anything or to swindle you. It's not for malicious reasons whatsoever. A lot of the times it's because we have different prices for different cities, or maybe people aren't great at updating their website, so they don't want to have 2-year-old prices on there, and then you get to them and discover they're twice the price. So there's a lot of different reasons for it that I'm going to be talking about today. Now, one of the things that I will do is when a couple emails me, as long as they've told me where they're getting married and what year, I will at least give them a sort of initial starting price so that if we move forward, they at least know whether or not they're in budget. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste their time. So I will at least give an initial starting price after they've emailed me. And then I usually need to speak over the phone with them, not only to make sure that we're a great fit for each other because I take on a limited amount of weddings each year, but also to get more details about their wedding. How many guests are they having? Where is it going to be? How many locations? What are they thinking for the day? How much coverage do they need? All these different sorts of things are important to me because there's not always a one-size-fits-all when it comes to photography pricing. If somebody has 300 guests, we might need to add in a third photographer. If somebody only has 50 guests, I might be able to do it with a second shooter, but we have to just see what the logistics are. There's a lot of different reasons why I might have to create something different that's custom. Now that said, my prices are always the same in one city. I'm just simply removing or adding things that are always a consistent price to their custom collections to make sure that they have something that really is going to fit their needs. They'll have options to choose from. So again, it's something that, I'm not changing my prices based on what their budget is or based on what I think their venue is. My prices are always pretty much the same, but I'm adding or subtracting things from it based on their logistics, and then I'll send that over to them to review. Now, since I do serve worldwide, my prices for San Diego versus Australia are going to be very different. So if I were to just list my San Diego prices online, anybody outside of San Diego is going to see that, and they might not realize that it's for local weddings only. Maybe that's what they think it is. They contact me. Turns out that they're not in budget for my pricing because I have to add on travel or whatever it may be. So that's another big reason why a lot of photographers aren't listing their prices. Now, maybe if they only serve one city, they don't really travel, they might list them out. But again, I really wouldn't feel comfortable listing them out because I travel all over the world for my wedding photography. So every city is going to have to be priced differently. Another thing that makes pricing really different is, say, for example, somebody right now inquires for a 2019 wedding, and then somebody inquires for a 2020 wedding. Those 2020 weddings, even if they're contacting me now, are going to be higher. I always have higher prices each year. That's something that's very common as a photographer because as your skill grows, as your demand grows, you can charge more for your work. I might be adding in new services or adding on extra things, but pretty much my prices for 2020 are going to be higher than my prices for 2019. So that's just something that's very standard. I have to account for inflation, increased cost of living, increased cost of my services that I have to use to help my clients, all these different things. So even if you are reaching out really, really early, the prices are still going to be higher for later years. And I won't even really book somebody for 2020 until it's about January of 2019, just so I make sure that my prices are pretty set in stone for 2020. Now again, as I've mentioned, even for local weddings, different guest counts or different logistics, or maybe we have 3 locations, we have to add in more time to account for all of that travel. These are all different elements that are going to change the prices of my packages. So that's a huge thing. Now I know for somebody like a coordinator, different venues require different setup times and different setup logistics. So there might be a venue that is incredibly hard for a coordinator or planner or florist to set up at. Maybe they are only allowed an hour for setup at your venue because it's open to the public until 5 p.m. and then they can set up at 6 p.m. I don't know, whatever it may be. Sometimes it's really, really tough. So they might have to hire on additional assistants to work faster in the time that they're given, or maybe the venue is massive expensive, it takes a lot longer for setup, they need more hands, more time, whatever it may be, there are very good reasons why people often cannot put out a one price fits all type of thing on their website. There's so many variables that make our work change. Now, photographer is a little bit less changing depending on those sorts of things, but anybody who has setup involved, they might be charging more if it's a venue that makes their lives more difficult, or if it's a scenario that's just tougher to fit everything in and make it look perfect in time. Now, lastly, again, some people aren't great at updating their website. I'm pretty good at it, but a lot of people might not list their prices because they know that they might not remember to update them, and they've left prices on there that are quite old or even a year old. They're not quite current, so it's not going to be the same when you reach out to them. So they're just protecting themselves from themselves and making sure that they're not putting anything out there that is incorrect, because it'd be pretty sad to go onto a website, see somebody costs $5,000, you email them, and it turns out their prices are actually $6,000. So things like that. We're trying to make sure that we don't upset you by having incorrect information. But again, I know this is all really frustrating. I know a lot of different vendors don't list their prices online. It's probably for at least one of these reasons, if not more. Now, when it comes to, making sure that you're not wasting your time, honestly, it doesn't take much effort to send somebody an email, make a template, personalize it a little bit. If you're sending me an email, make sure you delete "Hi Kathy" from your last email. Don't do stupid things like that. I've really tried hard never to make that mistake myself, but try not to do something like that. But you can absolutely have a template. It does not take much time to create one template that you can then send to multiple photographers that you are really interested in, and you can at least ask for a rough ballpark price. Now again, I typically like to speak with clients over the phone before I send over a custom sheet, but you can at least ask maybe for some sort of starting price. That way you know if you're able to move forward or if you need to find somebody else. Now, if somebody emails me and lets me know that they are out of budget once I send them my initial starting price, I can at least refer them to people who are less expensive than me. So that's something really great to know. If a bride ghosts me, I'll never be able to help her out if it's because of budget. So these are just helpful things to know. I hope this makes you guys feel a little bit more at ease about why vendors aren't putting their prices online. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!